Welcome to Rants Review. This time we're checking out another classic board game with a special theme. This is the Ops Clue, The Breakfast Club. This is for ages 8 and up, 2 to 5 players, and let's jump on into it. The main thing about this game, though, it's not like regular Clue. There's no murder. It's all about you're in the Breakfast Club, kind of like the detention setting, and a ruckus occurred. And so your job is to find out who caused the ruckus, what caused the ruckus, and where was the evidence hidden. So let's jump on into it. So you got your classic kind of build and setup here. Cards are wrapped in this non-plastic. It's like a paper wrap. I like that. They call them rumor cards, intrigue cards, character cards. Characters have special abilities. John Bender, the Rebel. Once per game, you may look at a card that a player has just shown another player. The Brain, Brian Johnson. Once per game, you may move to any part of the game board. The Athlete, Andrew Clark. Once per game, you may ask 2 questions on the same turn using the location you are in. The Princess, Claire Standish. Once per game, you may ask a question using a part of the board game that you are not in. Move the character you accuse to the chosen part of the board. The Basket Case, Allison Reynolds. Once per game, you may randomly pick a card to look at from someone you just showed a card to. It's pretty cool abilities. These are intrigue cards you can draw in the game. See you next Saturday, Bender. Take an extra turn. Add 6 to your dice roll. Move anywhere. Take a sneak peek at a card being shown to another player. Make someone reveal a card. It's revealed to all players. Nice. Avoid answering a question. The question stayed unanswered. Play instead of answering a rumor. Bonus question. Ask a question about any student token and location. Do not move your token or any of the things you asked about. Play now or keep until needed. And this is the Vice Principal. If 8 of these cards are revealed, the game is over. Mess with the bull, you get the horns. And then these are the intrigue cards. These are going to be your items, which are stolen screws, dropped books, bouncing a basketball, clinging combination lock, broken ceiling tile, and a spilled purse. Then you've got the player cards, locations of locker room, football field, library balcony, gymnasium, hallway, faculty restroom, library, principal's office, vice principal's office, cafeteria. And you got the rule book for the game, how it's played. So you have your little holder here. So you'll take the cards face down, of course, shuffle them up. Those 3 cards now have 1 person, 1 item, and 1 place. And they go inside the little holder to be revealed only when someone takes a guess or the game is concluded. You'll take all the rumor cards and shuffle them up. And then you will equally distribute them to players so that they can basically mark things off their list as regular Clue goes, to be honest. In the 2-player variant, or when you're playing as 2 teams, which is a fun little variant that I actually haven't ever played with clues, so I find it very interesting. You would basically take 4 cards face down on the table, and people, if no one answers a question for like a clue, then you can look at 1 card, mark it off, put it back down, face down on the board. Of course, you want to get to the situation where you can see all 4 of those cards, because that's the only way you'll know whether the game is basically correctly synopsis or not. But yeah, you would basically just equally deal out the cards. As best you can. And then those people's ability, the other 4 will be placed. Additionally, the player tokens are just cardboard pieces. Not my favorite thing about these modified versions of Clue, because the spacer boards are usually really tight and they actually damage the player tokens a little, but let's see if they've adjusted those yet. No, they're actually a little bit better this time. It's not bad. So do your best to match the colors. Some of them are really easy if you're colorblind, but some of them are a little bit rough. But here are the actual tokens. So you have the ceiling tile, the screws, the spilled bag, the clanking combination lock, the ball, and the dropped books. Additionally to the game, you have the dice. The major difference, just the basic original clues, you do have the question mark if that is rolled, or if you land on a question mark, then you will specifically gain one of these intrigue cards. But be careful, because the more of these principles you reveal, the game ends sooner. So you take all player tokens, and you add them to the board in the center, which is a nice little change. Now you can only leave the centerpiece from the 4 sides in those very specific locations, but you will just roll. And move across the board. Pretty simple, pretty easy in that regards. So the question being is, you might not want to go for the intrigue cards. They have some really cool effects. They do end the game faster. If you do, however, roll the intrigue, you do have to take the intrigue card. Again, though, you do fill out this form as best you can with the clues you have. Keep the secret from other players, and then you will basically make notations as you go along in the game. So it's a really important feature on that. I will say also the board does have the 4 corners that you can use to shortcut across the board faster, regardless what your role is. But it does have a couple really cool features. I like the Principal Vernon feature, again, which is a kind of a reveal card as a modification in the newer versions of the game. And then also I like the fact that you all start off in the center. It's very Breakfast Club. The one thing I will say, though, is the idea of trying to narc out your compatriots to give them more detention time and you less. Doesn't really fit with the end vibe of the Breakfast Club, but it's an interesting concept how the game ends, since there's not a murder in that movie. So hopefully you guys like this. Hope you guys pick this up for yourself, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.